People, like my mom used to always say, like, revenge makes you blind until you're done getting your revenge.
Ooh.
Like my mom said
That's
that.
a gem.
My
Say
mom
that again.
says that. My mom would always say that revenge can make you blind until you can see your revenge. So
love that.
literally, like, she's got her revenge. She had Dom. She took a group. She took Judgment Day with her. She took her title. She now is a crown jewel champion of the women's side. Where do we go with all this information? And on top of that, I believe she's already been WWE champion, right? What else?
Queen P.R, Krista B, those wrestling girls, TWG, Black Excellence, making it effortless, podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.
What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite girls, those wrestling girls. I am Krista B.
And I am your honorary wrestling girl, Seindole B.
Yes, Seindole is here filling in for Queen P.R, who is having the time of her life on vacation celebrating her birthday. We wish we were there in the hot sun where you are, but we out here in ghetto New York.
She out there getting her Eddie Guerrero on.
Right,
Viva
she
la
Viva
raza.
la Raza out there. Do it for us too, girl. Do it for us too. Seindole, thank you for filling in and standing in for PR today. How you feeling?
I'm doing good. It's a little cold, and I'm just here doing my honorary duties.
Speaking of honorary duties, for those you don't know, we are officially on Revolt. So this podcast is brought to you by the Revolt Podcast Network.
It's giving.
It's
giving light. It's giving production. It's giving camera number 1, number 2, number 3, number main.
The main, the water.
It's giving high definition mic.
High def. So for those of them who don't know, just explain who you are, how you became a part of the TWG network, and your show that you have.
Well, my name is Seindole B, aka Bonnet. For those you don't know, we can get into that story in the near future.
Bonnet and Scarf
yes.
soon.
So, I've been a wrestling fan ever since I was in Catholic school uniforms, and it's been a secret love of mine. But I met Queen P.R, who through my brother we discovered that we liked the same thing, and one of the things we found out later on at a WrestleMania watch party was wrestling, and through her I met you, and we just kind of been this inseparable.
Yeah.
Non-contactable, is that a word? Non-contact. Well,
we gonna make it one today.
We gonna
make it one today.
We just been in sync ever since, especially when it comes to wrestling. So what's that been? It's been about like 3 years since I've known you, and almost a decade since that. Well, I think it is a decade since I know P.
PR,
Yeah.
And it doesn't even feel like 3 years.
It doesn't. It feels like a little more than that.
I feel like a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's about maybe 4.5, 5.
We
either way,
at the 5 pinnacle.
Yeah, like either way,
soon,
it's like we back like we never left. Like
that part.
That's just what it is. So you became a pivotal part of the TWG network when we all was in Philadelphia in the infamous ECW arena.
Yes.
During the very first All Women's Hall of Fame, and that's how we kind of like coined the TWG network. And out of that, you spawned a little baby.
I did.
Talk about
I got inspired by these two lovely ladies because, long story short, I was like, "Do you guys watch NXT? Like NXT's really good." And they're like, "No." And I was like, "Wait, but NXT's really, really good. Like no one's talking about it." So after a cold, deep beauty sleep, I realized I'm like, maybe I should just start talking about it. And I think it's between you guys, and also if I can shout out another podcast on here, Jobber Tears podcast. Shout out to Sir Wilkins, Janelle, Mr. Black.
Yeah,
they kind of all inspired me. Like, no, you should totally do it. And then Brian Mr. Hollywood Waters,
one.
was basically like, no, do it. So around October of 2023, I spawned Watch What Happens NXT. It's a big play off of Andy Cohen's Watch What Happens Live. Of course, no, please don't copyright me. I'm a baby. I'm innocent. But it is more of an interactive live stream that you guys jumped in and said, do it on our channel. So I've been doing it every Tuesday before NXT starts ever since. And since then, NXT and WWE has been hot.
Yes.
And I'm jumping into the fire.
Yes.
Because I love talking about the brand.
Definitely jumping into the fire. And we definitely going to jump into NXT because NXT was a crazy one. But before we get to NXT, being that we're in our week number 2, we have to recap last week's Friday Night SmackDown.
Okay.
So last week's Friday Night SmackDown, the girls came out to eat and they left no crumbs. We had a rematch.
The floor is as clean as this podcast studio.
Spotless.
Spotless.
So the first match we had was Chelsea Green versus Michin for her United States Championship title. You know, I was there Saturday night main event with PR and Mimi, and I kid you not, if Michin would have won the way that Long Island was cheering for Chelsea Green, it would have came. It would have been a problem. I think they would have rioted. Like, everybody knew that Chelsea Green needed to win that title.
And you know, it was so tough because they love both of them in their own way are so lovable. Like, Chelsea has her own set of fans that are just like, listen, keep being you and do what you do. And Michin's just been like the ride or die to a lot of fans. So I watched from home and I was kind of torn. I'm like, if they give it to Michin, I'll be happy. If they give it to Chelsea, I'll be happy.
It was like one of those things where it's just
and
like whoever wins, it doesn't matter.
But I will say this, the title and the run is made for Chelsea.
It is.
Like, it is.
It is.
It is.
So let me ask you this real quick. Would you rather have seen her win U.S. title or Intercontinental title? Because you know we're going to touch on that Intercontinental
Put
match.
me on the spot.
I
mean, I have my own qualms about the Intercontinental title, but I think either way, like I said, she would have carried both titles with grace and made it, because everything with Chelsea Green, including her, she makes it important, and that's what I kind of love about Chelsea Green. Chelsea is that character that, like, if you gave her, for example, like Raisin Cane's, she's gonna make sure that Raisin Cane's is the most elite thing you will ever eat, or like Chopped, or like, even if, for example, if she were to hold, I know she went for the NXT title a couple of times, she would have made that title important. She would have made sure that, what does she call him, Prickly Pierce. Or she would have made them realize, like, hey, I'm important. This is me. I have this title, and this title is important too. Put me in the front. And that's what I love about Chelsea Green. So with this U.S. title, I feel like she's doing the same.
She's doing the same. And I saw a hashtag that says "From Sea to Shine in Chelsea." That is so Chelsea Green.
Like, imagine her going with the title to Chelsea in England. Like, made in Chelsea.
Made in Chelsea.
Which is like I want to say the Upper West Side of England.
Oh,
like, she would. Gosh. Hello, Kingswave.
It's so crazy
Dukes.
because she's Canadian, rocking a U.S. title, and then she would definitely, like, take it overseas to England. Like,
she would totally do it.
She would totally do it, and we would be here for it. Like,
but that's how her making it special.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what you want out of her first reign.
And it's crazy too, because on last week's episode, I was just telling Pete, like, WWE is making me forget about Chelsea Green in a sense, because we really didn't see her. Yeah. We haven't seen her, like, we really didn't see her defend the title.
It was hard.
It was hard, like, not to see her. And then she defended her title again against Michin. And I feel like this feud, I'm loving this feud, because it's just like, you want to see more of Michin, because we already know how WWE can literally let these women fall by the wayside. And when we see Michin come back after she was at Jobber Slam, and she had that main event with Big Swole or whatever, and she came back and she was a part of that faction, and she had that fake seizure thing in the ring, and we didn't know what was happening, and she came back.
I'm not gonna lie, the fake seizure thing took me out.
I was just like, what is happening?
Like, what is going on?
It was like,
and then you don't want to see match.
Her. Yeah, it's like, you don't want to see her fall by the wayside. So now that she's back, like, in the ways that she was in NXT, and she's actually getting screen time and ring time, and her and Chelsea's feud is just going up to another level. They had a dumpster match. They had, like, with things that we haven't seen in a while come back, and I'm glad it's with the two who were, like, kind of the most underrated.
And it gives flashbacks, right? Like, you get excited when women get to do, I don't want to say man things, but they get to do, like, wrestling things, like dumpster matches.
We haven't seen a good dumpster match in a while.
It's so funny, like, if you can name one match that's crazy for me that I was like, why are we doing this type of match, My craziest match, to talk about men's match a little bit. Remember when Chavo Guerrero and CM Punk had like a Gulf of Mexico match? So for me, the dumpster match for the women is the equivalent to that, because it's like you don't expect to see it, especially the way that the women have had to elevate themselves. But then it's like, it's hilarious to see.
Yeah.
And then they kept it going with Chelsea, walking around and it being a constant reminder and being a smell. But then she like redeems herself by becoming U.S. champion.
Yes, U.S. champion.
So
against the very person who put her in that dumpster and won.
Exactly.
Full circle moments
around the world and back.
So that match was good. I love Piper Nevin's costume. She came out like dressed like the Secret Service during that match.
Can we give her flowers?
She was eating.
Chelsea Nevin.
No, Piper Nevin.
Oh, sorry, Piper Nevin.
Listen, that should be the group
Chelsea
name.
Nevin. Yo.
That's it. You see how we be coming up with names? You see how we be coming up with names? Okay.
Like, them as a duo is so entertaining to me, but Piper Nevin just been stepping up. She has like her, and mind you, she always slayed for me. Like if it was a top tier of slaying, she's definitely in my top 10 of WWE girls who do. But she just like every single thing that comes with her and Chelsea, she goes with the theme.
Yeah, she does.
And I appreciate that from her, because like my biggest pet peeve is when you're a tag team and you don't match gear. But like even when they're not in a match together, Piper finds a way to navigate how I'm gonna be a part of what Chelsea's doing. Secret Service thing was just on point, because who's the most important presidential person carrying the U.S. title?
Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea Green's title run is going to be equivalent to what the men's Intercontinental Championship used to be.
Do you?
I do, because like you said, Chelsea is bringing this charisma. Like when you think of the men's Intercontinental Championship of the past and those previous Intercontinental Champions, you had Mr. Perfect, you had The Rock, you had Triple H, you had all of these people who had held some type of prestige or had some type of character build to it. So it was just like you wanted to see what the IC champ was doing more so than the World Heavyweight Championship.
That's true.
So
that is true.
I feel like Chelsea Green is already on that high climb with this U.S. title reign. And I would be, right now, I want her to hold it as long as Roman Reigns held his title.
I think it's possible.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely possible.
I think it's possible, and I also think, though, too, at the same time, my biggest fear is with giving women's titles, which we'll get into the IC a little bit, because that was my pet peeve. Yeah. Make it as important as the men. Have these special night matches for them, more main event matches for the women where the title is on the line. I love that, and that's why I think that's what gravitated to me being happy that when it went each way, if either one of them had won, I'd have been like, yo, that's a cool thing to have be the first champion on a main event, something that they brought back from the past, that in the past women weren't really involved in. When you look at all the past episodes, women were barely on Saturday Night Main Event, and this is what they did for them. I just think that's what makes it special to me.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. So Chelsea's definitely going to make that happen, make that title mean a lot more. So then we had a fatal four-way match. Again, this was between Nia Jax, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and Bayley. And I love how the three of them would often attack Nia Jax, because Tiffany Stratton finally grew some balls and cashed in on Nia to become women's champion.
I should have worn my Tiffy Time shirt.
You
should
have worn your Tiffy. Like, it's really Tiffy time now.
I was proud of her.
Although I'm not, y'all know how I feel about Tiffany Stratton. Not in a bad way. She just is just like,
She's okay.
But she does have the prettiest moonsault ever. Like, better than Charlotte Flair. Sorry, Charlotte, but I got to call a spade here.
It's an ode to Mr. Christopher Daniels, which I appreciate even more.
Absolutely.
Because he created the best moonsault ever, and she was like, I could do it.
I could do it.
She's like, I could do that.
It really is the prettiest moonsault ever. So it started out with Tiffany being in the ring. She cut her promo, and Nia Jax comes out and interrupts her. And then I believe Bianca and Naomi comes out and Bayley comes out, and everybody's like having this promo in the ring, and then they start fighting. And then, of course, Tiffany hits that prettiest moonsault on everybody. And she was like, all right, y'all want this title, so fight for it. And then Nick Aldis made it official. So it was a fatal four-way. So it was three friends and an enemy, and they all in the ring together. And I don't know. When I seen Naomi come out with that purple hair, it's giving heel Naomi. Like, if you go back to when she was Team Bad and she had the blue and black or whatever.
I didn't even think about that.
It's given she really may have attacked Jade.
Yo,
like,
but you brought back like a crucial point because she wasn't, and correct me if you don't, and we can agree to disagree on this. She wasn't giving heel when she was in Team Bad. She was more
she was
giving
just really frustrated. And
angry. She was giving like angry, like this is my spot and I'm gonna take it, and I'm a troll to like. Well, I feel like Sasha did more of the trolling and the attitude, but that's what it gave. So like for her to have that purple hair, I didn't think about that.
And she had tweeted, "I only wore purple hair." Thanks. She's like, "I only wore purple hair to make Candice LeRae upset." But then Bayley also has purple hair. Like, and Bayley's rocking it. So it's just like, what? But I really want to. The only thing that upset me about this segment and this feud or whatever is like we didn't touch on Jade at all. Like, nobody really mentioned her. Like, I get that the match was about who was going to be the number one contender for Tiffany Stratton's championship, which again is Bayley. Congratulations to Bayley. However, it's just like,
but that's what I want.
We never touched on Jade. Not even like we ain't speak about Jade in a little minute now in WWE. Like we don't know.
But that's what I want. I want to be surprised because we're not good at surprises. I'm looking at the camera when I say it. We're not that great with surprises, but that's what I want. Like distract me with everything that's going on right now, and then when I least expected, Jay can come back, and she's coming back with a vengeance because you've seen the social media post. Like, she's coming back for blood because something happened. And WWE is going to, the crowd's going to forget about her just a little bit because they already kind of looked at it like weird when they won the tag teams, but like Naomi replaced Bianca, and it's already giving weird. So imagine how it's going to give when we find out the truth.
Wait,
and we're going to
Naomi
find out the truth.
replaced Bianca?
No, sorry. Well,
Bayley
replaced Jade. Yeah. So it was already giving weird. Like, why are you having replacements?
I feel like the replacement came because Bayley has been trying her hardest, and that in those few moments leading up to her hardest to redeem herself with Bianca. Like, she's no longer a part of Damage Control. She's friends with Naomi. Naomi's the middleman. She's trying to find a happier ground. So I do feel like Bayley is really just trying to prove to Bianca, like, hey, like, I know what we did in the past was wrong, but right now it's water under the bridge. Like, we don't need to keep holding on to that grudge because we had our bouts. We settled it. You know, there's nothing that needs to be finished because it's finished.
Yeah, I trust that.
I don't trust anything in WWE.
Okay, I don't trust Bayley. Like, come on.
I like Bayley. I just don't trust anything in WWE. Like, because it's always a swerve somewhere.
She gets the side eye.
Bombastic?
Naomi, bombastic side eye. And I don't know who's getting criminal offensive side eye yet, but somebody's getting criminal offensive because it's just. And then the one thing about it is Bianca's not questioning any of it. You would expect for Bianca to kind of go like right in and be like, who did it? But she's also kind of like,
because her answers are staying the same. It's either Candice, Tiffany, or Nia.
Nah, man.
Her answers are staying the same every time it's brought up. She's like, when we find out who did it, although people have come to her and be like, remember when Byron Saxton came to her and was just like, yeah, I saw with my own eyes that Nia was over here in this room when Jay got attacked, so it wasn't Nia.
It's given setup, man.
It's given setup.
I don't know.
It's given setup. I mean, I would hate to see it because everybody would love to see Bianca. Like, I get it, but do it another way. Like, I would hate to see it. But yeah. So that match, and then it was just like a small moment where Bianca and Naomi had a standoff in the ring. And Naomi was for it, and Bianca was just like shaking her head, no, like, yeah, no, I don't want to. So maybe it's giving Naomi. Maybe it's really leaning more so to Naomi attacking Jade more so than Bianca, and then I feel like Bianca's gonna kind of be either it could go two ways for Bianca. She gonna be so mad that Naomi was lying to her face, like playing in her face this entire time, that she gonna fight Jade to get to Naomi, or she's gonna be still kind of hurt and confused and don't know which way to go, so she's gonna separate herself from the two and let Naomi and Jade have at it until she gets tired and be like, you know what, you hurt me too. It can go either two ways. I don't know.
I like the second scenario a little bit better. Like, it makes that second scenario makes a lot more sense. Not to say that not to say it's too complicated, but it would just tie into everything all together. Especially if Jade has seen who actually did it to her, and then we get the reveal, and then it all kind of ties into it after. Second scenario makes sense.
It makes so much sense. So, that match was amazing, the Fatal 4-Way on SmackDown and the Chelsea Green and Meacham match on SmackDown. We only had 2 women's matches that night. But what I loved was the social media trolling of Megan Miller. For those of you who don't know, the last time Chelsea Green was in, where were they at?
Seattle.
Seattle. Were they in wherever? I think it was Seattle in 2014. She was there as a personal trainer to Daniel Bryan, which was Brie Bella's
I laughed
husband.
because
everybody kept going and be like, Megan, I haven't seen you. Megan, don't worry, Brie's not here. And I love the Brie Bella name drop. So that means y'all already know when WWE dropped these nuggets and these names, y'all already know something is coming.
They had my girl on the front seat at Raw looking.
Right. And we just seen Nikki Bella
Red.
at the premiere of Raw on Netflix. So, and Nikki is not opposed to coming back to WWE. Neither is Brie.
And then we are in Royal Rumble season.
We are in Royal Rumble season. Yeah. But to pivot to, real quick before we go into the next topic, to pivot to Raw on SmackDown. Raw on Netflix. When you go back to watch the January 6th episode, they edited the audio for when Hulk Hogan comes out. So now it seems like everybody's cheering for him.
Can I show it? Am I allowed? I'm not. Okay.
Everybody's cheering.
Everybody knows how I feel
Everybody
about him, so.
is happy to see him and the boos, but I'm just like, nobody was happy to see Hulk Hogan at all. I know Shea Jackson Jr. did an interview, and he was like, the interviewer was like, saw everybody was booing Hulk Hogan. He goes, I was too, loud and clear. I could show you the video.
I've talked to many sources who were there, and they can confirm those were real. The boos were real. I don't know who they think they're taking their old school technology and covering the boos, but it was very real. And if you follow me on TikTok, a lot of people were shocked and amazed, greatly so, but they're like, why boo him and not boo The Undertaker? And I'm like, you got to remember, we're also in an age where the internet be interneting and documentaries be documenting. And there's enough documentaries between Who Killed WCW, Mr. McMahon, more Dark Side of the Ring episodes to know that Hulk Hogan ain't who he's supposed to really give.
He's not.
So if it's not all the stuff that's controversial, you know, he chose to side with somebody political that not a lot of people favor.
Your political views is that. Wait, we don't
and
care
it is
about
what it is,
views.
But it's also like every story that I've heard about him, and you can back me on this.
Yeah.
It's not giving like you here for the business, you here for yourself. I'm gonna share The Undertaker tenfold because there's like 5 different stories of when The Undertaker has helped people under him, women included. I'm gonna cheer for John Cena, even though people boo for John Cena, because John Cena has been a locker room leader to a lot of men. And despite how you feel about CM Punk, you gotta give CM Punk his flowers for
I don't hate
boosting
CM Punk.
women.
I need everybody
No. I'm talking.
to stop coming at me because every time. Well, I know how you feel about CM Punk. I don't hate CM Punk. I've never hated CM Punk. My thing is that, and I've said this before, I wasn't watching WWE at the time when CM Punk was a thing.
Right.
So I don't have feelings or qualms towards him.
Right.
Like, he's back now in WWE, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I will stand on this hill. He is the happiest and having the most fun he's ever had
He's
within this
redeemed himself.
company. Yes. So I can't sit here and be like, I didn't like CM Punk. No, like,
Yeah.
I can't say that. Can never say that. I just wasn't watching at that time.
Right. The one thing about this going around, though, I'll give him flowers. Like, for him to go into the ring with Roxanne, cut promos, and to boost the women in NXT and even boost some of the male superstars. I mean, he going to hockey games and having fun with Jey Uso and Jackie Redmond.
So yeah, like,
I mean, if you hear goody two-shoes stories about him, even though he had his controversies back in AEW, people going to cheer for him. There's not even like a handful of good stories about Hogan, and that's why people feel how they feel.
Yeah, they feel how they feel.
That's
and
where
also,
those boos came from.
Raw, WWE Raw, Netflix. It is Netflix. Do not be cutting out the curses. We want to hear them. Let them curse.
Girl, you know, it's a different country
Let
type of thing.
them curse.
In England, they was letting it loose. I have VPN, so
no, that's fine, but don't edit and cut out the curses. It's Netflix. It's not on network television. We pay for Netflix, so let them cuss. All right, moving on.
Let the cussing cuss.
Let the cussing cuss. Okay. So moving on, we finally saw. No, wait, I'm lying. I'm about to say we finally saw the. Well, we did. We did finally see the ending of this feud between Rhea and Liv.
You think it's over?
I hope so. But my thing is that what's really next for Liv? Like, we know she's plotting something. Like, what do you think? Especially after what Dom did.
Well, Dom's getting left in the dust, and
sure.
her and Judgment Day are being left in the dust. She's gonna set her sights. She's gonna either, with this whole transfer window being open, I don't know how, I don't know when. I'm itching for her to see her go for the other championship
on SmackDown.
But I also don't think she's done with Rhea.
She got to be, because we tied.
But, she said this revenge tour wasn't about the title. It was about her taking everything that Rhea had, right? Rhea has successfully got it back. And I just feel like it's not done. There's something else. She's going to dump Dom. She's going to dump the whole dirty Dom thing to the side, because for you to make that boy go get your bags is one thing, and Raquel's bags.
Make sure the car was ready.
Make sure the car was ready at the end of the night. You basically told him to sit in the car and wait for you to go party.
Right.
That's what you did.
That's exactly what you did. Good for you. Good for you.
No, but I don't know. And you know what's funny? Giving Liv credit where it's due, she did a heck of a great thing with the title. But like, where do you go from that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's up in the air.
It's interesting because people, like my mom used to always say, like, revenge makes you blind until you're done getting your revenge.
Ooh.
Like, my mom said that.
That's a gem.
My
say
mom
it again.
says that. My mom would always say that revenge can make you blind until you can't see your revenge. So,
love that.
Literally, like, she's got her revenge. She had Dom. She took a group. She took Judgment Day with her. She took her title. She now is a crown jewel champion for the women's side. Where do we go with all this information? And on top of that, I believe she's already been WWE champion, right? What else?
So, speaking of what else, we actually have a hotline. Okay. So the question for tonight, well, one of the questions for tonight, and you could call our hotline number, which is down below. It's on the screen. What's next for Liv Morgan? We want to hear your thoughts on what you think is next for Liv Morgan, and where does she go from here? Does she take Raquel Rodriguez with her? Does she leave her in the dust as well with Dirty Dom? Let us know. Call the hotline right now. Let us know what you think is next for Liv Morgan, because we want to know, because we have no idea where to go when it comes down to Liv Morgan.
She can leave Raquel in the dust.
She can leave Raquel in the dust.
She can tell her to go back to NXT. Like, she might want to go, unlike some people we know.
But we also saw on Monday Night Raw the finals of the IC Women's Championship match between Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria.
It's high.
It's a little steamy. So I actually did a sound off that's out now.
Watch it.
Krista B sounds off on our YouTube page about Lyra winning the IC title. Now, here's my thing. I don't want Lyra to feel as if that I am hating on her or, that she doesn't deserve it. I feel like everybody in WWE or wherever you do deserves a shot at something.
Yeah.
However, as I was looking at the brackets, I do feel like Natalya was overlooked. I felt like Zelina Vega was overlooked.
They're always overlooked. And that's the sad part.
And I felt like they could have been in that final match. Like on the one side with Dakota, I was fine with Dakota being up there because she's another one who was like always overlooked, or when she hit her peak, she got injured, and
she was my pick.
Dakota was your pick? Yeah, I think out of them two, she was my pick too.
Yeah.
But if it was like Dakota and Zelina, I'm picking Zelina. If it was Dakota and Natalya, I feel like Natalya should have been inaugural because of legacy. Like, knowing what that title holds, like what that title means, what it meant, what Pat Patterson brought to this company. Like,
shout out to Pat.
I honestly feel like Natalya probably should have won that. And I feel like they only pulled Natalya out just to fill in for something. Yeah. And that's what's bothering me because she's so talented. We know what she does behind the scenes for these women. And it's just sucky that we only see her for a short amount of time. But yeah, I do feel like Lyra should have had like a second go around or third, like step up and be like, all right, I'm gonna challenge you for this because I should have won in that match and I'm not, and then start a feud that way. Like Lyra winning this match, I feel like it's gonna get lost in the sauce because right now there's no character arc for her. There's no build for her. Like, which way will this really go? Right. I don't know which way it will go. And even looking on Twitter, everybody was just like, it should have really went to Dakota.
And you know what? It would have been a good thing for Damage Control because they haven't had a belt since they were a tag and since Io was the champion. Yeah. And then, like, it just would have been great for Dakota because I give her resilience because she's been injured a lot. She just came back from injury. She had to stand on the sidelines and kind of be like one of the wheels on the bus of Damage Control for a minute. Even in the feud they had with Kinky and Bayley out, she kind of just had to like swerve herself in a little bit and just be there. And I just feel like you could give her something. Like give her some. I have no qualm against Lyra. Everybody who knows me, who's watched What Happens at NXT in the past knows I actually root for Lyra a lot. My fear with her going to main roster was that she was going to get lost in the sauce, but she's a former NXT Women's Champion, and when they give you that much faith, obviously they expect for you to have like some type of championship, success in the main roster. But like, it didn't have to be now. Yeah. Like, it could have been a little later. Would have been nothing wrong with it for it to be later.
That's how I feel. I feel like it really would have been nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
But it had to been later. I'm sorry. Yeah, I really feel like her time should have been later. And I think what also didn't do it for me is like she didn't get that pop. And I spoke about this in the sound off.
On Raw. We couldn't. Yeah. They could have waited, and I know their biggest thing is to attract Netflix, but that couldn't wait till another Saturday night main event.
Maybe. I don't know. I could have done something, but I also
before
feel
the
like,
Rumble.
Definitely before the Rumble. And I also feel like you know how like they be like, oh, they shouldn't take somebody's moment. Yeah. I feel like a surprise should have popped out at the end, like an Alexa Bliss or a Becky Lynch, because
saving her for the Rumble.
I'm sure, but I'm just saying, like Becky Lynch and Lyra had a good feud. Becky put her over.
That's true.
So why not come back to redeem? Like, oh, you thought this was over? Like,
this is true.
But I just feel like it could have been something more to that.
Do you think they don't see championship quality in Dakota, and that's why the choice went to Lyra instead?
I don't see it in Lyra, to be honest. I don't see it in her yet. That's like, I know she was champion in NXT, clearly.
Right.
But I would have been okay with her having another title shot in NXT just like Roxanne did. I would have been more comfortable with that. Instead of being called up. She got called up. And then you get called up before Roxanne?
Well, with Roxanne, she has more of the appeal in NXT because people have been rooting for her since day one. Lyra just got kind of plopped in there after the whole NXT UK type deal. So her longevity in NXT UK was shorter, and that's why they gave her more of the exposure here in the US. But I agree with you. A lot of people don't, but then there's a lot of people that don't think Roxanne's ready for main roster either.
Roxanne.
I don't know how, because Homegirl's been in 2 Royal Rumbles and it's the talk of the town outside the brand, but.
Well, you heard what Bayley said.
We gonna get into that.
Speaking of, we can actually get into
BBL
it right
Bayley.
now. BBL Bayley. Yamala. Yamala comes to the front.
We gonna touch on the promo real quick when Nia was like, first of all, Nia too, another of my top 10 serving in that bodysuit, by the way.
For sure.
When she was like, it's not you, it's not Tiffy, it's sure as hell ain't Bayley.
It's just like, why would you? Okay, because I got some. You know how P can't stand Sami Zayn getting in people's business?
Yeah.
Nia is my Sami Zayn.
But that's what she's here for.
Nia is my Sami Zayn.
But isn't it hilarious?
No. At this point, it's like, you, Nia Jax, you came back, you won the championship, you were champion, you were on top, you did everything you needed to do. Now that you lose, you want to talk about this transfer window. It's like you're not even trying to redeem yourself over Tiffany Stratton. Like, what would you left from Raw?
Yeah, like what would you do on Raw?
Like, seriously. Like, girl, boo, go sit down somewhere. Anyway, back to Roxanne. So, Roxanne Perez comes out at the end of the match, at the end of the show, towards the end, to cut a promo, to talk about how, what she does, her whiny, crying self, talk about her losing the NXT Women's Champion to Julia, which is a good match. If you guys have not watched it, please go back and watch it. It was a great match.
A+.
But as she's walking to the ring, you see the camera pan go to another screen, and you see all these shoes. So I'm like, who do y'all think is coming out?
I thought it was Lyra.
Because of them boots. Them boots was cooked. Them boots was cooked.
That's why we scarf and bonnet. Because I was like, on my live stream, I was like, who that? I was like, wait, them docs look like, and them feet small. That's why I gave Lyra 2, because the feet were small. And I said, I should have known, because when she jumped over the barricade, she had them same boots on.
Cooked. Them things was cooked. But, so now Roxanne's in the ring. She's cutting her promo. And Bayley music hits.
Right.
And Roxanne looked like she's seen a ghost.
But you know what, though? Real quick into the promo work, Roxanne was dropping gems.
She was. She really was. She was.
Because she was right. A lot of the women, the best women we've had in her reign, Jordan Grace, Jada Parker, Lola Vice, Chelsea Green herself. A lot of women stepped up. Julia. A lot of women came to her title because she's one of the best, and then they stayed because the roster is one of the best rosters out there as far as women. So she dropped a lot of gems.
She did.
You still miss me with the whiny part, girl. Like, girl.
Stop whining.
Girl.
Like,
we get it. Like, you were the prince. You were this. You know what it is? It sinks in with her personality, because she was. It's like when you are always employed a month at your job, and then somebody comes up who does your job better than you, and out of all the pictures on the wall, it's that one picture that's not yours, and you're like reminding people that people came to work because they heard that you were the best, and they're like, it gives into that tie, like you don't want your picture replaced.
You just gave the definition of a pick-me.
Exactly, that's what it. She was a darling. She was Ring of Honor darling. She was the youngest, women's champion. She was handpicked to be, and she was the youngest in her class at the PC. So it's given like, I'm here because I made this, and that's the attitude she gives her in promos. I mean, it irritates a lot of people. It does what it's supposed to do.
Irritates
the soul of a lot of people. But Bayley used to be, but Bayley, I think, comes into play because on the opposite side, when the 4 horsewomen were excelling, Bayley was left behind.
She was.
And look at what she turned herself into.
And that's what she said. She was just like, you're going to be stuck here, and I'm going to be main events in WrestleMania, and I'm also going to win my title match against Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown. It was just like, Bayley's over here trying to give you your flowers, but also teach you and kind of put you over, and you're being an arrogant little brat.
But she's young. She's supposed to be a brat.
Girl, grow up. You've been NXT Women's Champion twice. Grow up. Grow up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Bayley says she only grew a foot taller than, or an inch taller than what she
Yo,
was.
First of all,
let somebody tell me that we fighting.
we need to add that to the list.
Yeah.
Those are fighting words.
Fighting words.
Those are
'Cause
fighting
who you
words.
talking to?
Like,
who are you talking to?
inch what? Excuse me?
That's why she got popped in
You
the
want to get
mouth.
popped?
She got popped in the mouth. But, and then CW, give us a little bit of overtime. How they start scrapping and go off like that?
Yeah, I was pissed.
I was pissed with a capital pissed. I was like, what?
I was mad. I was like, how y'all cut? You supposed to let them fight?
I'm like, go to YouTube. Something. Is it something
They
more?
said
like,
The Rock took up the extra 5 minutes, so they cut 5 minutes off this week because last week.
Rocky Maivia, get it together.
We could have waited for the news. Ain't nothing we
important.
would have heard.
Look, as I fix my Rock Chalkline jacket.
Look.
Okay. Hey.
Per.
But yeah, so I'm really excited to see where this feud is gonna go. Like now, I feel like, is this gonna be like a Roxanne call-up situation? Like,
I hope
is
so.
she going to interfere in the
I
match
hope
with
so.
Bayley and Tiffany Stratton?
I hope so.
It might be something.
I hope so.
We may get a Tiffany Roxanne feud and Bayley feud.
I hope so.
It's looking very promising.
But that would be the best feud to start Roxanne off with.
Tiffany.
Yes.
Did they have one in NXT? If I'm not mistaken.
No.
No. Oh,
No.
so yeah, that would be.
Bayley didn't really mix in with a lot of the 2.0 kids.
No, I'm talking about Roxanne and Tiffany. Did they have a feud?
Not her. No.
Mm.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah.
They kind of
book it.
because around the time that Tiffany had came for the title, Roxanne had that situation where she passed out. So they didn't intertwine. And then at the same time, that's when Indy won. Indy had to relinquish, and that's how Tiffany got her belt. So there was no real, there wasn't any intertwine. Now that I think about it, not at all.
Book it.
Mm-hmm.
Book it. I really would love to see Roxanne versus
That would
Tiffany
cook.
Cook.
That would cook at a SummerSlam.
That would give some seasonings.
Yeah.
That
would be some slap your mama.
Yeah. Yup. Right. Nail right on the head. Yup. It would give slap your mama. But now we're gonna go backwards a little bit because I definitely started with the end of NXT because that was just an amazing promo.
Fair enough. It was good.
It was a good promo.
It was a good closer. Let the women close.
One thing about me, I'm gonna turn on a wrestling event, and the women's always coming up.
Yo, that's why you have to watch NXT,
right?
Because they be giving women women exhibitions every Tuesday.
Because as soon as I turned on NXT last night, it was Stephanie Vaquer coming out and Shotzi. And
girl,
first of all, let me commend Shotzi. Shotzi has redeemed herself since Survivor Series in Boston when she had that horrible match against Ronda Rousey.
It wasn't her fault. Ronda doesn't work well with people, but I get you. She does not. She's not beating them. She's not beating those allegations.
Right.
Not.
And she was in War Games the following year. Her team won. Cool. But Shotzi has come back. She was in the Fatal 4-Way. No, I'm sorry. The 6-woman tag match last week. She got the pin over Fallon Henley. And now you beat Stephanie Vaquer for a title shot for the title shot for the North American Women's Championship.
So here's my thing.
Why
did we? And you hear the itching? That's I'm itching my hair like it's tight. It making my wig itch. Why would you have a fatal 4-way with the best women out there? Because that fatal 4-way cooked at New Year's Evil. And you kind of just splattered all over it by because I never got a chance to. All right, Shotzi goes against Stephanie. What was that? Why not just have Shotzi in a match? Have Shotzi in that fatal 4-way match. I guess she was busy. I give her credit. She was busy. They had her and her 2 Powerpuff alt girls had to go up against Fatal Influence. I get it, right? Why we do it? Why this couldn't wait till later? Why we do this now?
I mean, I guess because technically Shotzi was called up. So technically she is, I believe, she's still on the main roster, but you know how they go back for the
but like,
But I mean, I'm here for it. Like, I feel like Shotzi is right at home. I feel like if she wants to get a chance to be recalled up or go back on the main roster, then this is where she has to go. And why not go and fight the best of the best? And at this moment, it's really like
you late.
But my thing is that it's really when it comes onto the women's roster of NXT, there's really no deciphering like who's the best from who's not the best, because all of these women cook.
Right.
So you might as well just like get it all out the way now, because you're gonna face them sooner or later.
You're right.
You're gonna face a Julia. You're gonna face a Stephanie.
I was just upset because I was like, okay, finally getting Stephanie Valkyrie. And then you know what it is? A part of me thought too, I'm like, maybe they don't want Fallon to lose it so early, because baby losing that you losing that
You're
title,
losing
baby.
that title.
The baby, it was, you held it cute, you know.
Real
you
cute.
Upgraded your little cowboy fashions and went with the title and the fatal influence. You know, you upgraded, but you're losing that.
You're
belt.
losing that title, baby. It's not staying with you.
I get maybe they didn't want it too early, but I was just like, time and place. For everything.
mean, I'm for it. The way that she won though was crazy, because she didn't notice that Fallon had hit Stephanie in the back with the belt.
But that's why I feel like it's about to give triple threat, because if one thing about Shotzi wants a chance, but Shotzi's also fair. So she's gonna realize like that wasn't fair, and fatal influence is a nuisance. Why don't we just, whether it's me or whether it's you, even though I want it to be me, let's take them out. Let's take Fallon out. So I feel like it's gonna give fatal 4-way,
or maybe tag team, because
3-way.
It could be tag team, because you got Fallon and JC Jane. Because remember, JC intercepted first. She interrupted first. And then you saw how Stephanie and Shotzi were teaming up to take out JC. And then you also got to remember they were on they was on the same team during the 6-women tag match. So it may be a tag team that, you know, and it may be difficult for Stephanie and Shotzi to be a part of at first, because Shotzi got to win. And can we note that was Stephanie Vakir's first defeat?
That was crazy.
And it's by Shotzi. That gives Shotzi an upper hand now.
But it's fair, too, at the same time, because just like, and I'll be real honest, true, I thought it was fair that Julia lost the first time in that title match, because it was like, why are you pushing her on me? Give me a chance to root for her, and that's what it was given. But now that Stephanie's lost, I'm like, all right, I don't feel like they pushing Stephanie on me anymore. Let this happen gracefully.
Yeah, and that's exactly what happened. So now Shotzi has a chance at Fallon Henley's title. And then we have, which I feel like was the match of the night, the tag team qualifier match.
Oh, 8
left, no crumbs. And shout out
Come
to Jakara.
to find out.
What?
Everybody 8.
Everybody 8. Shout out to Jakara Jackson. I feel like she doesn't get enough.
She doesn't get enough praise. She worked so
well. She worked so good. Her and Lash Legend together is like a prime rib at a Michelin star restaurant. Like, it's just so good.
It's giving 200. It's giving like $300 per person type 5-course meal. That's what it's giving.
That's what it's giving. And it fills us. It fills us every time. But then we still want to make room for more.
Exactly.
Like, and Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, because I always get their damn last names mixed up.
It's okay.
They are really good as well.
They're really good.
They are really good. Although they was doing too much of my girls, not too much of my girls, but they delivered. And I was just watching it yesterday, and I had tweeted out, like, I just love women's wrestling. Like, I'm really in awe of women's wrestling. Like, these women are phenomenal. They are amazing. Like, there's nothing that you can tell me about a woman wrestler right now in a negative light, because who are you?
And if you solely notice too, like, even with the tag teams, everything and down to NXT, like NXT knows it and they cater to the women so well. And look at how their fan base caters to it.
Yeah.
Those girls like Lash and Jakara have already been in Riyadh.
Yeah.
They've already competed. They already have that main roster exposure.
They have that exposure and that appeal.
So here they are fighting for what they deserve.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we hear they song pop at the Royal Rumble.
Hello.
I would not be surprised, especially now if we're going to have them go against Bianca and Naomi for the tag team titles.
I'm so excited about that.
Unless Jay want to come in and
No,
shit
don't
around.
do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I
'Cause
just
they gonna be
want
like, girl,
I just
you
want them to even
shut
have that chance to have the belts again, because remember the last time they went for it, it was about 3 other competitors with them.
Yeah.
I want them to have that chance. It's so much packed into NXT with the women. I'm always excited with what happens at NXT.
Speaking of excited with the women, we had Cora J versus Kaylani.
First of all, Kalani, if you want to turn heel, I understand,
Turn
baby
heel.
girl.
Turn heel.
If you want to slap more people, we understand here.
Do
we
it.
understand.
We
The girls, we get it.
But we know that there's rumors and scuttlebutt about Jordynne Grace coming up to NXT. But the fact that Masha Slamovich
I popped.
was in the audience.
I popped. I said, first of all, my head started spinning because I'm like, Misha's there with the title the way that Jordynne came with the title. But this time she not involved with the title. This time she was looking at Cora Jade.
Like, what's going on? And then
we getting a part 2 of NXT
okay.
TNA? Because that was really good for the
NXT
ladies.
NXT TNA was like the best thing they could have done.
Yes. Are we
Like,
getting around 2?
And you know what's crazy? It was the different from last year really opened the door when Jordynne Grace music hit at the Royal Rumble. And it was just like,
and it served more the women than the men.
it did.
Because you had Izzy Dame go down there, Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
You had Carmen Petrovich go down there. You had Carly Bright was in the program. Kendall Gray,
Wendy Chu.
You had Brindley Reese. All the NIL girls got a lick of what wrestling really was, and that's what makes me excited about this partnership. But like, it's Masha Slamovich, bro. Like,
Yes. Masha
How are you?
Slamovich.
How are you not excited about Masha?
They took to Twitter, and she was just like, Cora J was like, who was she looking at? And she goes, you want to find out?
You don't listen, Cora. You might be Miss Femme Fatale. You've not touched Masha, okay? We've seen her live.
We've seen her. I'm about to say, we've seen her live.
We've seen her live, honey.
We know what she gives. We know what she gives.
Listen, her and Killer Kelly weren't crazy for no reason, honey. Check the tapes.
Check the tapes. It is recorded. It is on tape.
We stand you, Cora, but I don't know.
Okay.
My hands might have...
You on your own, daughter.
You on your own, daughter?
You on your own, daughter. That's it. That is it. So, NXT was good. I just don't understand how they just be topping themselves every damn week.
So let me tell you something, and it makes sense. When you're, and I put it to my job, when you're young and hungry, there's no limit to what you say no to. I guarantee you, NXT is literally known for women's wrestling because both men and women deliver, but it's just the fact that the women care so much to their storyline. Like, even little parts, like backstage parts. We see Sean Spears is trying to recruit some woman. We don't know what woman he's going to recruit. He was interrupted Izzy Dane. He was looking at Gigi Dolan. This week we see him trying to deflect, Ariana Rizzo from the family. Like, he obviously wants a woman in his faction because he's seen the dynamics. You need a strong woman. My preference is Izzy Dame. She's my girl. I like her. I like her style. She's giving me taller Trish Stratus.
Taller Trish Stratus.
She is. She's giving me tall Trish Stratus with the fashions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So if you're going to pick Sean, pick her. But I'm just saying the women, like, deliver because they're passionate about it. They've seen the evolution before them. And obviously, too, a lot of people thought that they were just going to be some college girls learning how to do basic chokeholds. And they've excelled that expectation. So
yeah.
What you going to say about that? Nothing.
I have no idea. I just cannot wait for, Friday Night SmackDown to see what's going to happen. Then going back to Raw, and going back to NXT, and then
we got main event coming up.
Main event
on the 25th.
Coming up on the 25th. But we know what we also got coming up is this hotline right now. Like I said, we have a TWG hotline, and we wanted to hear some calls, some comments, and concerns from you. And we actually have a caller who called in to, give us some take
They hit on a highlight bling.
They gave us some take on how they felt about wrestling this week. So we just going to go ahead and listen to what they had to say.
Hey, how's it going? This is Jaron Suber. I'm just the pro wrestling fan. And then and I'm just watching the WWE Raw on Netflix yesterday. And then because I'm watching with Lyra Valkyria defeated Dakota Kai, became the first time ever the inaugural Women's Intercontinental Championship match. And then I heard when CM Punk and Seth Rollins do the promo, and then Drew McIntyre came by to the Now and Interrupted, and then in next week, next Monday will be Rollins versus McIntyre for the Not So Soon. And then I saw a Penta made his debut because today he defeated the leader of the American Made, Chad Gable. Well, that's really known. I love the Raw debut of Penta because now then he left from AEW wrestling. And then tonight I've been watching and I can't wait for a championship celebration for the new champions, including NXT Women's Championship Julia and the new NXT champion Oba Femi. And similarly, I'm Jaron Suber, aka Jay Rockefeller, the pro wrestling fan. So peace up, Hotline.
Jared, the super fan, we just want to say thank you for calling in. We agree with you. I'm definitely tired of Drew McIntyre interrupting stuff. I don't need to see him no more. Like, Drew, how many times are you going to squander something? As soon as somebody tries to, like, give you the benefit of the doubt or something, Drew McIntyre, you literally just come and insert yourself in business that doesn't belong to you. CM Punk and Seth Rollins' feud has been brewing way longer than you have been in WWE, the first and second time. So, therefore, you need to stay out of people's business. Let them cook. And if you want to sit here and try to do a faction with those who hate Roman Reigns, go look somewhere else. Because right now, Seth Rollins has said he wants nothing to do with Roman Reigns, and he will have nothing to do with Roman Reigns. His focus, his tunnel vision is on CM Punk. So let it just be CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and be done with it. You already inserted yourself into the Royal Rumble. You got something new to focus on. And Seth Rollins and CM Punk ain't it. So leave it alone. Thank you for tuning into my sound off. But this has been such a fun episode, Seindole. Thank you for stepping in and being my P for tonight. Although you forever my bonnet.
I mean, I'm here for the scarf and bonnet shenanigans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So we shenan once. Best believe we're going to shenan again.
Okay. But please, let everybody know where they can find you on social media.
All right. I'm going to treat this like fan club, if you don't mind. You can find me on all social media platforms. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok while it's still around at reload.relive. You can find me on Twitch. Coming soon. You can find Watch What Happens NXT on Twitch, where I will be rolling random streams. You can also find me on the TWG Network when I do Watch What Happens NXT exclusively now on the TWG Network.
Absolutely.
On Those Wrestling Girls YouTube channel every Tuesday, 6:15 before NXT starts. You can also catch me doing our shenanigans, hopefully soon, Scarf and Bonnet Part 2. Yeah. All my social media. I also have revamped my YouTube channel.
Oh, nice.
So I will be back on YouTube at just plain Seindole B. And yeah, just other than that, just catch me shooting the sky and shooting the breeze about female wrestling and NXT, because I love wrestling just as much as these two lovely ladies do.
Absolutely. And, of course, you can find me, Miss Krista B, that's MS_KRISTAB_ on Instagram and MS_KRISTAB on Twitter. Make sure you follow Those Wrestling Girls everywhere, because we are found and we are streaming everywhere. That's YouTube, that's TikTok, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's Twitter, that's Blue Sky, that's Threads, literally everywhere. Make sure you follow my other half, my better half, Queen P.R, that's Queen 3_PR. And until next time, this is Those Wrestling Girls, brought to you by the Revolt Podcast Network. Until next time, we're out of here. Bye.
Bye.
Queen P.R, Krista B, Those Wrestling Girls, TWG. Black excellence, making it effortless. Podcast bringing up women and wrestling. Let's go.